Hey guys, it's IlonkaSims here, and I am back with another speed build. So in this one I am building an underground home thingy. I guess it's just an underground home, I don't know. But yeah, it's something I've been thinking about doing for a bit, and I think it's a pretty standard thing for people to do at some point, and I I run out of ideas most of the time, and doing these kind of weird builds based on like what other people do, kind of like challenges almost, is just helpful, I guess. So an underground home it is, and I wanted to put in some water features because water features are fun, and it helps us get some light downstairs by putting some windows in the pools and all that. So that's just what you see me do now, because building is a thing, and it's not always the easiest thing to do, especially if you don't really have an idea exactly of what you want to do. I'd been thinking about what to do for this build for a bit, and I wanted to have something that was kind of let's see, how can I best say this? Something that was just, I don't know, a bit interesting. Going very much with like a neutral color scheme for this build. And I tried out a few things beforehand, and I was looking at some pictures, and it was pretty good, I think. And that kind of just stuck, and it turned out to be like an echo home, but not really. It's just the way that I see it, I guess. But yeah, you can see me here just messing around with some different ways of getting light downstairs. Putting a tree in the ground, which is weird, but it works. There's some windows in the pool. Thinking they would look nice in the kitchen, sort of, at least. Just getting an idea of the layout and how much space we really needed, which is not always the easiest thing to do. And then putting some landscaping here on the terraces because they look cute. I love making just really funky shapes in them. It looks good. And my voice is dying. I don't know if you can hear it, but my voice is dying. Sorry if you can. There's not much I can do about it. I've had a cold for quite a bit. And it's probably not gonna go away anytime soon, so I'm just gonna try to ignore it because colds are kind of a pain. And yeah, up here we are making a little I don't know, seating area. I think it turns out to be. I just wanted there to be an outside area where you could sit as well, and I didn't feel like it necessarily had to be underground as well, so I kind of put it up here. And right now this looks kind of weird, but it actually turns out pretty well. I think it actually looks really nice in the end. Wasn't necessarily a fan of the columns that I'm using here, so I'm changing them to the smaller ones. It's a very kind of neutral colored home, but still very modern, which is, I don't know, it's interesting. It's not necessarily something I've done before, but it works. But yeah, just making this little area here with all the green things. Figured I should put them at the front as well. I didn't know why I didn't do it initially, but I didn't. And I ended up deleting those stairs because you don't actually need them, because the foundation is only 1 step high. So that's good. And then putting the trellises in here with the tree was kind of a bit more tricky, but it worked. I just had to edit it a little bit. Putting in some more landscaping, and I was sitting there and I was thinking, how am I supposed to do this entire lot landscape? That's a lot of landscaping. The biggest bit of landscaping I've done recently, I think, has been my my castle build, and that was just a pain, kind of. Like, I love doing it, but I'm not the best landscaper, especially when it comes to these kind of really fancy things. But yeah, I think it worked out fine in the end, so it's okay. Just messing around with some fences and half walls. Putting some tiles and things over here in the pools because that makes sense, I think. It's supposed to look kind of natural, but at the same time I wanted them to be this bright blue color because I really like this bright blue color. And then trying to make it a bit more of a natural shape and putting all the rocks around it more than I probably should have. I feel like I sometimes overdo it with placing rocks around pools and fountains, but at the same time it looks really good, so I kind of like it. And of course putting in like fake waterfalls and things is also just lots of fun. And for a change I decided to add in these, I think they came with the Get Together pack, but these pool items that make everything steamy and bubbly and whatever it is they do exactly. But it just added that little bit extra that looked pretty damn nice. And changing some of the terrain paint because the edges looked very which I guess is what they were trying to go with, but I didn't like it, so I fixed it. Which might look weird if you place this lot somewhere else, but terrain paint's easy enough to fix, I suppose. And again, just lots and lots of landscaping because it does so much for the natural looking pool area. And putting some more of these shrubs thingies, hedges, whatever you want to call them, over there as well. And I knew here that I wanted to put in another area where we could go downstairs, but I didn't quite know exactly yet where because the rest of the build wasn't done yet, so I figured, okay, you know what, leave that and let's go downstairs and see what we can do there. And I figured I should finish off this area of the pool as well, trying to put in some more landscaping, which I think actually ends up disappearing. I just realized, like, I remember building and thinking, didn't I place things there? But I think they disappeared. Oh well, I'll be okay with it disappearing. It looks fine in the end. But yeah, as I said, kind of more of a natural build. So I try to stick away from white or light blue walls as I usually use. We have this skylight in the living area. I guess this is the living area? This is the real question. It's not quite the living area, I'd say. I think it's more of just one of the hanging out areas, kind of where you can go and watch TV mostly. But the other area where we have the tree and the kitchen, that will be like, I think that would be the main living area. You have the kitchen and the dining room and an area for kids to play, some computers, so I guess that would be the main living area, even though it's not the TV area, which is strange, but it works. But yeah, this is just one of the living areas, I suppose. So messing around with some different kind of cabinet thingies over here. It's one of the best looking things, I think, in the game, when you just mess around with some different things for the TV. You see this a lot in like magazines and stuff, and it looks so nice. I really like it personally. So I figured I'd just try and do something like this, putting some paintings around, going and looking at things that match the kind of color scheme that I was going for, which is the one thing I thought about before actually starting the build, which means I try to stick with kind of natural colors. And then the living room was like a brown, reds and yellows, and you'll see the rest is more of a brown, reds and greens. Some blues in there as well, but mostly very much brown, which is not a color I typically use, but it worked, I guess. Putting some decorations on there, just using the move object sheet and then moving things up and down with the 9 and 0 keys, I think it is. I don't even know. It's just so automatically that I do it that I'm not sure which year it is anymore. But I think it's 9 and 0. And just trying to figure out what to put in here. I remember this bar thingy globe, whatever it is, from the vintage glamour stuff pack. Is that what it's called? I think so. I hope I'm not messing up with some Sims 3 pack right now, but I think that's what it's called. I figured it would look nice there. I just have something extra in this room that you could actually use. And I wanted to put in a desk here, which looked pretty nice. But then I remembered, wait, I didn't actually want to put a PC in here. I kind of wanted to make another kind of, I guess, study area almost, or whatever you want to call it. A place where we have 2 PCs, at least. So you'll see me look at this and go, wait, I didn't want to do that, so I deleted. I look for a place to put a bookshelf, which isn't the easiest thing to do. I think I ended up putting one on the wall. I put some chairs over there, like this. I think I go, do I keep this color? Do I go with the lighter color? I think I go with the lighter color. And then this really funky look that I don't necessarily like that much, but it worked for this particular area. And as I said, putting one of the wall bookshelves in there, which worked pretty well, I think. And then over here we have just an entrance area. Messing around with what we could do. I kind of wanted it to match with the outside a little bit, so I put in these wall ivy thingies. I end up moving them and putting in some candles in between, because it's a thingy I found out recently that fits perfectly in between 2 columns and it looks really nice. You'll see me do it in a second. I was just thinking about what else I could put in there. And it actually ends up being mostly empty because I just didn't know what else to put in there. You can easily put a painting or a mirror or something in there if you want to, but I figured it's just an entrance area, it's fine the way it is. But yeah, then we started on the kitchen, which I actually quite like. It's all very open plan as soon as you get out of the living room. And we have, again, the wets in there, which I think looks really nice. I moved the stove so that we can put these shelves in there, which, again, I really like these shelves. I don't know if I'm the only one that does, but a lot of the items that came with the Cool Kitchen Stuff Pack I actually really like. I use them a lot for building my kitchens. I know it's not the most useful pack for many people, but the items that came with it are great for building. Kitchens are the heart of a home, or whatever it is that people say. I think it's something like that. But yeah, the tiles in there are kind of a bluish green color, kind of matching in with the pool and with the painting that we have in here. That is the very rich green, which they don't quite have the same kind of color in tiles. I think I did look at it, but it wasn't really working too well. It was too much. And just to change things up, I added some different color tiles behind the stove because it's fun. But yeah, as I said, we have some of these other green color tiles, but they're not the nicest tiles. There's a lot of the tiles that we got with the base game that I just don't like the look of. So I tend to stick with the spade tiles, actually, which again is just another pack that's great for building. Putting in here a dining area which is open to the kitchen and open to the tree, and I found it very important to keep this open plan so that we could still get some daylight in from the area where we have the tree. So that's also why it's so very open plan. I didn't necessarily plan it to be this way, but it worked out this way, and I think it looks pretty well. I don't think that's proper English. It looks pretty nice. That's what I wanted to say. Yay me. And I mean, I say this is an eco home. It's probably not. It's very fancy and lights and all that. I mean, there's quite a few candles in there, so if you don't want to use the lights, I suppose you could use all the candles instead. But it's not not that eco. It's just the way I put it. I considered putting in a green wall, but I thought it looked a bit silly, so I put in some mirrors instead. And I love going around with the 9 and 0 keys and just moving them up and down and making funny shapes with them. It works. Now I put a bar in here because I thought it looked nice, and I kind of wanted to put a bar in. I built this in mind, keeping in mind that there would be a couple with 2 kids in this particular house. So yeah, as I said, there will be a kids area, and at the same time I didn't want it to be too I don't know, to whatever it is. My brain's not working today. But there was a bit of cut there. I should have probably put in a black screen for a bit, but I didn't. So there's a cut because I wanted to go and do the layout off screen because it takes me such a long time, and I've noticed that building is taking me a while these days already, so I figured I'd not make you sit through me trying to figure out a layout. But I basically put in 2 bedrooms for kids that are connected by a bathroom, and then the master bedroom with the ensuite. And we have a bit of a pool in there to get some light in, and I will add an outside area downstairs from the master bedroom as well. So that all works out pretty well. Pretty well. I keep saying pretty well, I don't know why. Well, having a bit of a study area here, as I said. 2 PCs, lots of small decorations and things. The shelves on the wall are great, and putting this clock in there, like the sun clock, it just worked so well. I don't know how, but it did. I think I ended up just putting a plant over there and maybe a mirror, possibly. I think so, which I ended up changing a tiny bit at the end, but you'll see that in the next part of this build because I had to cut it up. I know some people don't mind watching 40-minute videos, and it's not that I mind putting them up, but I don't like recording commentary for 40 minutes, especially because I've had a cold for like 4 weeks or something right now, which means that my voice starts dying, and let's not do this. Let's just keep it simple. 20 minutes long enough for me. So the next part will be out in the next couple of days if you're watching this when it comes out. But yeah, as I said, a bit of a kids play area over here because that's something I think a lot more builds need. You need a place where the kids can just play and the parents can keep an eye on them instead of just having the toys in their room. I'm pretty sure kids tend to play in living rooms until they get older. But yeah, that's pretty much all I do for this video. Again, the next video will be out in a couple days, hopefully, if I don't feel too bad. And that's it. So I will talk to you next time. Bye, guys!